Hello everyone. In this video, we will start the third chapter of ninth class civics, that is constitutional design. So basically this chapter deals with how constitution came into being, what is constitution and what is the need of constitution, and how the constitution of India develops. So let's study. Democratic constitution in South Africa. So this is the story of South Africa, how South Africa got independence from the white people, similarly as India got independence. So this, you can see this figure, Nelson Mandela, a very famous revolutionary and the follower of Mahatma Gandhi, who did the same thing as Mahatma Gandhi did in India to South Africa. So this is his famous quote: "I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideals of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Basically, it means that he trying to say that he has fought against white domination. You know, white people here refers to the people of European people who came to South Africa and colonized the country. Okay, so he has fought against white domination, and even he has fought also against black domination. So suppose if one or two people are dominating their fellow blacks, he also fought against that. And basically he was in favor of democracy and equal opportunities. So we can say that in this, democracy and equal opportunities are the keywords, and these are the two ideals for which he can die also. Then this was Nelson Mandela being tried for treason by white South African government. He and 7 other leaders were sentenced to life imprisonment in 1964 for daring to oppose the apartheid regime in his country. He spent the next 20 years in South Africa's most dreaded prison, Robben Island. So what does this mean? Nelson Mandela was tried for treason. Treason means anti-national activities. That is the case which is means anti-national activities, treason, okay, by the white South African government. At that time, the South Africa was run by the white people, okay, and he was sentenced to life imprisonment in 1964 to oppose the apartheid regime. So apartheid regime is the system of racial discrimination. You all know race. What is a race? Race is we can say the species of human beings. Okay, for example, due to the climatic conditions and due to some other geographical conditions, the humans facial expression, facial features, okay, their build, their facial, their color, okay, their hair colors and their skin color, these things vary naturally. Okay, so that is called race. Okay, so white people discriminate with the South African people on the basis of their race, that these people are blacks, they don't like black peoples. Okay, so that is called the apartheid regime. In apartheid, we will study later that everything was separate for white people and black people, and white people they did not allow the black people to enter in their colonies, to live in their colonies, to use the same you can say same places, market, cinema halls, hospitals, education, everything was different for black people and white people. So that discrimination was called apartheid regime. So Nelson Mandela fought against apartheid regime, for which he was sentenced to jail. Then you can see the signboard, Native Indians and colored. Native means the people who are natives, okay, of South Africa. Indians and Indian people, and colored. Okay, colored means the people who are mixed race. Okay, their fathers from some other race, mother from other race, so this is called a mixed race. So these are they are not allowed. If you enter these premises at night, you will be listed as missing. Armed guards shoot on sight. Savage dogs devour the corpse. You have been warned. So this is a signboard, but usually very common at that time, warning to the native black peoples. Now, struggle against apartheid. Apartheid was the name of a system of racial discrimination unique to South Africa. The white Europeans imposing this system on South Africa during the 17th and 18th centuries. The trading companies from Europe occupied it with arms and force, in the way they occupied India. But unlike India, a large number of white had settled in South Africa and became the local rulers. So I have told you what is apartheid. It is a system of racial discrimination. Okay, and how the British, they formed their government there. They became the ruler, just like India. They came for the purpose of trade and business, and soon later, gradually, what they did, they occupied the territory. Okay, they made the South Africa as their colonies, just like India. But unlike India, a large number of white had settled in South Africa and became local rulers. So it means, unlike India, in South Africa, they became the local rulers. They settled there with their families. Then come here. Apartheid divided the people and labeled them on the basis of their skin color. Yes, I told you about skin color. Okay, the native people of South Africa are black in color. They made up about 3/4 of population and were called blacks. So most of the people in South Africa were black. Beside these two groups, there were people of mixed races who were called colored. So the people of mixed race were called colored. People who migrated from India. Okay, the white rulers treated all non-white as inferiors. So as I told you, in apartheid regime, they treated them as inferior, so that they did not want them, okay, to use their things. The non-whites did not have voting rights. So we discussed in the previous chapter, democracy, that what is the value of voting rights. Okay, through vote you can choose your government, which will work for your own interest. Then the apartheid system was particularly oppressive for the blacks. They were forbidden from living in white areas, okay, white colonies. They could not work in white areas only if they had permit. They need permission to work in white areas. Train, buses, taxis, hotels, hospitals, schools, colleges, libraries, cinema halls, theaters, beaches, swimming pools, public toilets were all separate for the white and blacks. So I have told you these things were separate. It means the whole life is separate of white and black. This was called segregation. To eliminate someone, okay, to compel them to live in separate areas, called segregation. They could not even visit the churches where white worshipped. Their churches was also different. Black could not form associations or protest against terrible treatment. So they did not have any rights. Since 1950, the blacks, colored, and Indians fought against the apartheid system. They launched protest marches and strikes. The African National Congress, ANC, was the umbrella organization that led the struggle against the policies of segregation. So one party in the South Africa, just like Indian National Congress in India, there was African National Congress in Africa, South Africa, which fought for the independence. This included many workers' union and communist party. Many sensitive whites also joined ANC. See, some white peoples who were sensitive, they also joined ANC, that is African National Congress, to oppose the apartheid regime, okay, and played a leading role in this struggle. Several countries denounced apartheid as unjust and racist, but the white racist government continued to rule by detaining, torturing, and killing thousands black and colored people. It means many countries in the world, they were denouncing. Denouncing means they were not accepting, okay, the apartheid system. But even though still the white people in the South Africa, they continued the system of apartheid, okay. Then come toward a new constitution. As protests and struggle against apartheid has increased, the government realized that they could no longer keep the blacks under their rule through repression. The white regime changed its policies. Discriminatory laws were repealed, ban on political parties and restrictions on media were lifted. After 28 years, okay, so what? As the white people know, they knew that now the situation is going from their hand, okay, out of their hand. What happened? The protesters and these struggles were increased, okay. So they think that, they think that they will not hold it further. So what they thought? They thought to relax some rules, okay. So what they did? They changed their policies, okay. Discriminatory laws were repealed, okay. Ban on political parties were lifted, media became free, okay. Then after 28 years of imprisonment, Nelson Mandela walked out of the jail as free man, okay. So he got out of jail, Nelson Mandela, and finally at midnight of 26th April 1994, the new national flag of Republic of South Africa was unfurled, marking the newborn democracy in the world. So on the date of 26th April 1994, the country became independent. They had a new national flag, Republic of South Africa, okay. It's called RSA, Republic of South Africa. Then apartheid government came to an end, paving way for formation of multiracial government. So now the multiracial government could be formed. Multiracial means where multiple races, okay, many races can have equal rights. That's called multiracial government. Can every person from every race, they can be a minister, they can be prime minister. That is called multiracial government. How did this come about? Let us hear Mandela, the first president of the new South Africa, on his extraordinary transition. So what? The first president of South Africa was Nelson Mandela, who fought for freedom of the South Africa and was sent to jail. He was sent to jail for 28 years. So what he said? He said historical enemies succeeded in negotiating a peaceful transition from apartheid to democracy exactly because we were prepared to accept the inherent capacity of goodness in the other. So he said that these people, white people, they knew the importance, they got to know the importance of democracy, okay, over the apartheid, okay. It's because there were goodness in them and also in us. So my wish is that South Africans never give up on the beliefs in goodness, that they cherish that faith in human beings is the cornerstone of a democracy. So basically this quote of the speech of Nelson Mandela tell that he was a very staunch supporter of non-violence, okay. He was the supporter of non-violence and follower of Mahatma Gandhi in favor of democracy, human rights and everything. Now after the emergence of new democratic South Africa, black leaders appealed to fellow blacks to forgive the whites for atrocities they had committed while in power. So what? When the country became democracy, the rulers, the leaders of a new country, South Africa, Republic of South Africa, what they appeal to their fellow citizens, they said कि although or the white people, they had done terrible things to us in the past, but we will not repeat that. Okay, they said, let us build new South Africa based on equality of all races and men's and women's, on democratic values, social justice, human rights. What they said? They said we have to build a new South Africa based on equality of all races, men's, women's, poor, rich, every social religion, social caste, everything, human rights, everything will be equal. Okay. The party that ruled through oppression and brutal killings, the party that led freedom struggle, sat together to draw up common constitution. Now the party which fought for the freedom, they sat for discussion for constitution, how we should make a constitution. Okay. After 2 years of discussion and debate, they came out with one of the finest constitution the world has. Okay, the constitution gave to its citizens the most extensive rights available in our country. Okay, so what they gave us, the constitution gave us the extensive rights. Okay, in South Africa. Together they decided that in the search for a solution to the problem, nobody should be excluded. Nobody should be excluded. You read it. Nobody should be excluded. Okay, everything will be included in the development. No one should be treated as demon. Okay, they agreed that everybody should become part of the solution, whatever they might have done or represented in the past. So we should not take in mind the things which happened in the past. We just forgive them. We had forgiven them. Okay. The preamble of the South African Constitution, see page number 50, sums up this spirit. So in page number 50, preamble of South African Constitution was given. So what is the spirit in that? Let's see the 50 page. This is the preamble of the South African Constitution. We, the people of South Africa, recognize the injustice of our past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those who have worked to build and develop our country. So it means basically this all things is a preamble. What is preamble? Preamble is called the summary, okay, the aim and objective of the constitution, that we are making a constitution. So what is the aim of making constitution, what we want in our country, that is called preamble. So in this preamble, first they acknowledge all the freedom struggle revolutionaries, okay, who have given their life for the freedom struggle, okay, to build the new nation. And then he said that constitution will be supreme law, equality will be there, justice will be there, fundamental human rights, all the good ideals and values were discussed. So now here, the South African Constitution inspires Democrats all over the world. The state, denounced by the entire world till recently as most undemocratic one, is now seen as a model of democracy. So when they made very brilliant constitution, all the country of the world, they praised South Africa. They said, wow, like earlier the country which was not a good government, or we can say was performing poor in human rights, now they had made a very excellent constitution. Okay, what made this change possible was the determination of people of South Africa to work together, to transform bitter experiences into binding glues of a rainbow nation. Speaking on South African Constitution, Mandela said, "The Constitution of South Africa speaks both past and future. One on the one hand, it is a solemn pact in which we as a South African declared to one another that we shall never permit a repetition of our racist, brutal, repressive past." So see the what is the thing there? What they declared? They declared that we shall never permit a repetition of our racist past, racist, brutal and repressive past. We will not repeat it, okay? But it is more than that. It is also a charter for the transformation of our country into one which is truly shared by all its people. A country which in the fullest sense belongs to all of us, black, white, women and men. So what they said, we will not repeat it, and the countries belong to every person, man, women, black, white, rich, poor, every person. So here this have shown some similarities, okay? We have to find some similarities between the Indian freedom struggle and South African freedom struggle. So see, nature of colonialism, yes, little bit same, or I think more or less same, because they also at that time British people came to India for their trade and business, and later they settled there and made India colony. Same happened with the South Africa. Then relationship between different communities. Yes, so in India, except some few instances of casteism, more or less people were united, okay? So leadership, Gandhi and Mandela. So Gandhi was the prime leader of Indian freedom struggle, and in South Africa Nelson Mandela was there. Party that led struggle, African National Congress, Indian National Congress. Okay, method of struggle, non-violent, yes. Why do we need a constitution? So this is the major question of this chapter, which is very, very important for exam purpose. Why do we need a constitution? Why we need to make? The South African government, the South African example is a good way to understand why we need a constitution and what do constitution do. The oppressor and oppressed in this new democracy were planning to live together as equals. It was not going to be easy for them to trust each other. So now see, earlier white were dominating the black people. Now black people are in majority. They form their government. They will form their government. Okay, election will be held. They will win. So the white people have a fear, okay, that should we trust these African people, South African people? Maybe they will repeat the same thing which have done to them in the past. So for that fear, what they wanted that we want written rules, written laws, so that you will not torture us in future. Okay, we want a written rules. So they may be unwritten rules, unwritten that okay, we are assuring you we will not do harm to you, but what about them? If they will die, the next generation will come, next generation will make these atrocities, okay, oppression of white people. So a need of constitution was there. They had fear, they wanted to safeguard their interests. The black majority was keen to ensure that the democratic principle of majority rule was not compromised. They wanted substantial social economic rights. The white minority was keen to protect its privileges and property. So what they want rights. White people said we want rights, okay, that you will not take our property back and you will not make problems for us, okay. So after long negotiations, both parties agreed to compromise. The white agreed to the principle of majority rule, that one person one vote, okay. They also agreed to accept some basic rights for the poor and workers. The blacks agreed that majority rule would not be absolute. They agreed that majority would not take away the property of the white minority. This compromise was not easy. How was this compromise going to be implemented? Even if they managed to trust each other, what was the guarantee that this trust will not be broken in future? So you can see here some kind of compromise. Okay, white people said, okay, we agree that one vote or one person one vote, we agree to that, or some rights will be given to workers and the lower people, poor people, they agree. Okay, and you okay, so these were the demands, we can say the conditions. And black agreed that okay, majority, we will be majority, majority rule will be there, but we will not create problem for you. Okay, we will not oppress you. Okay, we will not take your property. So this was a compromise which was between them. Okay, now so I think this is enough for this video. We will I will upload the next part of this video soon. Okay, so goodbye.